Hey puzzlers, welcome back for another video. Now this video is going to be the first video in a little mini series where we go over this lovely puzzle here. This puzzle is the 5,000 piece Ravensburger and it's titled Space Odyssey. It's basically a whole mock-up of our solar system. It's a beautifully striking image. It's there's a lot going on and I'm really excited to start this. So in this video, what we're going to concentrate on and look at is we're going to have a look closely at the box, see what the puzzle's all about. We're going to look at the pieces, get the pieces out. And then we're going to go into the sorting, talk about how I'm going to sort it, how I'm going to tackle the puzzle to start with, and kind of outline my steps of what I'm going to do. Let's get started by zooming in on the box and having a look. So here it is. This is the 5,000 piece Space Odyssey puzzle. Technically, it's 5,040 pieces if you want to get technical. As you can see, it's a really nice looking puzzle. I'm really excited to start this, and it's actually been on my list of ones to get and do for quite a while. What it's actually showing is basically our solar system. You see here from the middle, it's got our solar system right in the middle with the sun, and then it has all of the different planets around the outside. It also then goes into a few other well-known space items. Here you've got the space shuttle, you've got the Pleiades, and then a load of different nebulas. Something here I'm not sure of, but that's the Eye of God. A couple of different nebulas. And then, over on the sides, you've got a couple of different spacecraft that have been done before. So you've got the Galileo spacecraft, the Calypso satellite, the Hubble Deep Space Telescope. There's another big one, the International Space Station, and Voyager 1. So one of the things I can notice about this is there's quite a lot of things that stand out. So as I start the sorting, I think some of it's going to start being quite easy, knowing where a few bits are going, such as the sun. You can see all this flare sort of looking colour. That's going to stand out a lot. And the only places that is in this middle bit and also down here. You've then got the likes of Jupiter, which I'm hoping will stand out as well. And Saturn, that's another one with the rings that should stand out, and also the body of Saturn. And then you have Uranus and Neptune. Now then, they may go into one pile as I'm sorting because I'm not sure how many pieces there'll be, and also they may look slightly similar as you're doing the sorting. It purely depends on the size of the pieces and what information it has. The other big bit that stands out is all this writing. So you've got the main writing in all of the pieces, which is great. But then down here, there's a lot of information. You've got a little bit of information about each of the planets and each of the things. So that's going to take a good amount. And then obviously these bits down the side, they should be quite easy to sort because they actually look like a lot different than the rest of it. And then I'm guessing I'm going to have a big pot at the end, which is full of all these outside bits, all these blues, nebulas, the asteroid belts, all that's going to end up in one, I think. That's going to be quite difficult. But until I start the sorting and know the size of the pieces, I'm not going to know. So let's get it opened and actually have a look at the pieces inside, shall we? So it's got this lovely big poster, which I'll open up in a moment once I've zoomed out again. As it's a puzzle that has been done before, not by me, this was a second-hand puzzle. It's not in the normal Ravensburger bags. And I'm also hoping there won't be as much of the blue puzzle dust that you normally get. So let's get this opened. I'll chuck that bag down here. So it's kind of come in two bags. I'm not sure why they've done it. I'm not sure whether this bag was a certain section, the other one was a section. However, in case, I'm going to open her up and I'm going to pour her out and I'm going to mix the two bags together because I want to do this properly. So there's bag number one, just make sure that I haven't got anything left in the other one. Now, that is the biggest bag. The other bag is only small, which I'm glad because that's looking really full already. So let's open up the second one. And to be honest, looking at it, it looks like it was just shoved into 2 bags for space. There's lots of similar looking pieces in both. Let's pour this in there. Blimey, this only just fits. This is crazy. Let's have a look. There we go. So that is our 2 bags put in, and this only just fits in the box. Jesus. Blimey. Yeah, I would normally put my hands through this box and just rummage through the pieces. I love to do that. However, yeah, I'm not going to do that on this one because all the bits are going to go everywhere. However, we will look at a few pieces. So some of these bits really stand out. Yeah, so some of these parts that are going to stand out, you've obviously got these bits which are from the sun. That's quite clear. These are going to be Jupiter by the looks of it. You've got all the nebula and outer space areas. Let's see if we can't find some other planets. Yes, that looks like it was going to be Neptune or Uranus. And then the writing, so I'm pretty sure that's the bit that says our solar system, is quite big. So some of it fills letters. So the writing is going to be easy to find. Let's see if I can't find some smaller writing. That's quite big. There you go, there's a few bits there. So I think even the smaller writing is going to be quite big, which is quite nice because that should make sorting a lot easier. Right, what I'll do, I'm going to zoom back out and we'll have a look at this poster, and then we'll look at a few bits I've got to help me in the build, and then we'll start the sort. Right, I don't know how well this is going to sit in the camera. However, let me open it up. I'll come out to the back of my sofa, and there you go. Hopefully that is in view. Let me come and check. Yeah, so there you go. I've zoomed in a bit, and you can see that the size of that sofa and how much that fits, that's going to be a real help when it comes to actually build. Because what I can do, I can have this up on a wall right where I'm puzzling, so I've got an easy guide to look at when I'm building, which is brilliant. And after it's done, that could double up as a poster for my kids' bedrooms. I have 2 boys who love science and love space, so I think that'd be perfect for them. Right, so that's the puzzle. Now let's look at a few of the bits I've got to help me in the build. I've gone and got, where are they? 4 of these big puzzle boards. These are, I believe, A1 size. You can see I'm struggling to hold them. So the puzzle should fit nicely on 4 of these, with a little bit of room. But I don't think there'll be a lot more room at the end of it. So that just shows for them how big this puzzle is going to be. So if you haven't done a 5,000 piece puzzle, yeah, they're pretty big. The other thing I've got to help me for when I do my sorting is I went and grabbed these pots. I've got a pen to write on them what it holds. And then yeah, I've got 5 pots here, two large pots and 3 small pots. So as I'm doing my sorting, I'll put them in each of the pots, and I've got a few more laying about if I need them. And then I'll get a little pen and I'll just write on there exactly what's in there. So, you know, when I hit a section 2-3 weeks down the road, I know exactly what it is. So that should really help. Now, one of my concerns with doing this build is purely space and space management. I have 3 youngish children and a dog, and I can't really just leave puzzles out in the open. Leave them on a table. Not that I have a table that would fit these. So I've got the 4 puzzle boards. The plan is to do the sort, and then I'll start trying to build sections. I might build the sun, I might build Saturn, the Earth, and try and build them all individually, and just have them on little, either little boards or on the main puzzle boards. That way I can put them away at the end of each session and get them out when I need them again. I don't know where I'm going to store them yet. That is another problem. I normally store them in the kitchen. However, they just take up so much room. So I might look and see if they actually go underneath the sofa, which might be a help. But yeah, so basically, that is it. We've looked at the pieces. We've looked at how I'm going to build it. So yeah, I think it's time to start sorting. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to set up a couple of tables in front of me, and I'm going to stick a movie on, and then we're going to go from there. And the movie of choice today is Apollo 13. I thought that'd be very fitting for the fact that we're actually doing this space-themed puzzle. So yeah, excited to see this movie, and I'm going to sit and do the sorting. The movie is 2 hours 20 minutes, so I don't know if I'll get all the sorting done in that time. Probably not. However, I'll give it a good go. Next time you see me, I'll be discussing what piles are in, what boxes are in, and how I'm going to approach it properly. And then that will probably be it for this video. So I'll see you in a moment. There we have it. That is the sort complete. Well, that is sort one complete. When I first started this, I thought one sort will do it. However, yeah, that was a pain. So I think there's going to be a second sort a little later down the line. However, that was exhausting, tiring, and I'm tired. Need a drink, some food. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'll be back in a moment to give you an update on where we are. Okay, so I am back in my front room, back on my sofa, and I have my box of goodies. So let's have a little look at what I did. So basically, when I started on the start of the video, you could see me going through and I was writing on all the different pieces that I'd done. So, for example, the first one I picked up is spacecraft. So in here, I basically went through at any parts that I found that looked like they were on one of those little spacecraft, I chucked in this box. Nice and simple. There's lots of them. They really did stand out quite a lot. So that was quite easy to see. And hopefully, most of them should be there. The next one, I have letters. Now, when I was going over all the letters, I was actually quite surprised at how many there were. It started in this, and by the time I was halfway through this box, I ran out of space. So basically, I had to switch it up. So this doesn't have letters anymore. This now has all the edge pieces. Yeah, the edge pieces, quite self-explanatory. Edge pieces. They're easy to see, easy to spot. And yeah, that should be most of them in there. However, whenever I do edge pieces, I always seem to be missing one or two. No matter how hard I try, I never get them all. So we shall see. The last of the little boxes was the sun. Again, the sun was it's fairly big on the box, and I thought it might. I was quite naive. I thought it might actually fit in here. Yeah, not a chance. Didn't fit in there at all. In fact, it barely fits in one of these big boxes. So this is now. Hang on, I gotta remember now. I finished this like yesterday. This is all the other parts of planets. So all the other bits that I think are planets. So this one here, you can see the outline of one of the small bits, like a moon or a planet or something. And then all like the rocky textures and things like that. So that's in there. And then all like the colours and things that are clearly planets. So you've got the blues. So that's obviously going to be Uranus. And then I've got some darker blue that are going to be Neptune. And in here somewhere, so I don't know if I'll be able to find one. There's another bit that looks just like a planet. But in here somewhere, we had there we go. These cool bits here that make up the Earth, and they stood out like a sore thumb. Now, I don't know why. Don't know why they were so easy to see, but every time I found one, I was like, "That's the Earth. That's the Earth. That's the Earth." So I'm hoping I can get through this and actually build that quite quickly. Now, the other two I have is these two big ones, which I've alluded to earlier. It was meant to be the nebulas and the background, but it's now turned into all the letters. Now, this is, again, self-explanatory, and it's going to be quite easy. But I was quite particular with these. What I did, let's see if I can find one. There you go. So I don't know if you can see that, but you can see that on the bottom there's just a slither of white, which is going to be letters. So I was really strict, and anything that had even a tiniest bit, I'd put in there. So I really was strict on this, and I think I've pretty much got them all. So this is probably going to be the first one I start with. But yeah, we'll see. And then obviously I did the sun. Not on here, that's other planets, but yeah, this is basically the sun. Now, when I started, I thought, yep, it will be the sun, and I was looking at this piece, these bits. But then as I'm going through, these bits here kind of started to merge in, and I didn't know where they were. So this ended up actually being the sun, I believe, Jupiter and Saturn as well. So there's actually the sun and two planets in there. I don't think I've got all the pieces in some of the other planet boxes and all the outsiders and the nebulas in the background. There are some pieces that probably should belong in here, and likewise, there's bits in here that probably shouldn't be in here. This was kind of tricky to do. Some was obvious. The bright oranges were clearly obvious, but yeah, that was one of the hardest to do because it covered quite a wide range. And then, last but by no means least, is in the box. I have every other piece that I didn't know where to put. So, as I was saying before, yeah, that could quite easily be in the box with the sun. But if you look closer, you probably can't see on the camera, but there's tiny little bits of specks that look like stars. So that could be part of the background. So I didn't know. So what I'm going to do now, so that's pretty much the first sort done. I'm quite happy with the ones that are in the small pots, especially the spacecraft and the edges, obviously. And then the letters, I'm really happy with the letters. That's pretty much done. But the other ones are going to need a second sort. So now the first sort is done. I will have to do a second sort at some point, but I'll start the build first. So what I want to do is do some of the build, get a good lot of bits out, like the letters, like the spacecraft, the edge work, the ones that are clearly going to be easy to do. And then before I pick another section, I'll probably look at it and lay it all out and then do another sort again, just to narrow it down. Otherwise, I'm going to be here forever. Yeah, so that is all I'm going to do for this video. Time is dragging on, and I really don't want these videos to be too long. I know it's a lot of me talking, so if you are still here, I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, I'm going to save the build for the next one. And yeah, so the next video is going to be all about the build, how I'm going to start the build, where I start, and yeah, it's going to be a bit more fun, a bit more watching me do the build and see how I tackle it. So thank you for watching so far. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's going to be a great build. It's probably going to be over 4 or 5 videos over the next few weeks, and I'm hoping to get one released every week or two. So stay tuned. They're going to be coming quick and fast at you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.